Hi, I'm gay, in case you didn't know. A while ago in a video, I said this, and you might be thinking, why haven't you made a coming out video? Well, there might be something happening, but... So that thing that's happening is a BBC Three documentary about my coming out experience. It's available to watch now on the BBC iPlayer, and whether you're in the closet yourself, or you're a parent, or you're just wanting to learn about what it's like for someone of a different sexuality to come out, then you should go and watch it right now. It's part of the BBC Three series Sorry Not Sorry, which is all about identity, so there's other people's stories that you can go and watch too. In the documentary, you get to see me before I came out, during me actually coming out, like I filmed myself coming out to my parents, and after coming out. So the point of this video is to quickly tell my coming out experience, but also include stories that maybe weren't in the documentary. I'd recommend clicking the link in the description so you can go and watch the documentary now, then come back to this video and find out more information, plus what's been happening in my life after the documentary leaves off. So let's get into it. Something that I say in the radio advert, video advert and the documentary itself is that I've known since I was 5. I didn't know that I was gay because I didn't fully know what that was, but what I did know was that every day coming home from school, me and my mum would drive past a boy and I knew that I was attracted to him. But I never acted on it or said anything to anyone, and that's not because I thought it was wrong, it's just because I didn't understand that it was a romantic attraction, and that's possibly because I was also attracted to girls. But what I realised later in life was that the attraction I had for girls was more of admiration, like I wanted to be their friend, or I wanted to have their hair, because I was definitely one of them boys that would like put a t-shirt or a towel on their head, and still am one of them boys, and pretend that it's hair. All throughout primary school, I think I subconsciously convinced myself that I was straight. What I mean by that was I wasn't concentrating on sexuality, but because I was being fed so much heterosexuality from society, it made me concentrate on this admiration feeling for girls and make myself think that it meant I was attracted to them. So I thought I was on the right path because I was concentrating on girls and not boys. A big factor of that was also that I wasn't really attracted to any boys in my primary school class, so sorry boys. Still at primary school age, it became clear to other people around me that I wasn't a normal boy. I liked dressing up and I wasn't interested in any sports, and one story that my family always tell was that in a desperate attempt for my dad to make me like playing with a ball, if only he'd known that if he made it a plural I would have been far more interested. So the story goes, as my dad was walking away from me to then throw the ball back to me so that I can catch it, he turned around and there was me, sat making a daisy chain. Moving swiftly on to secondary school, within the first month I got asked if I was gay. In year 7 I got asked if I was gay. Someone just came up to me and was like, "Ross, are you gay?" But still at that age, like age 12, I was still sort of in the phase of like, I like girls, but I was coming into the more appreciation of boys, and I think that's to do with puberty, like my body was starting to realise what it likes. My sexuality was like slowly creeping out, but because it was only slowly creeping out, it meant that half of me was still in that girl phase and half of me was in the boy phase. So I convinced myself that I was bi. I wish I could just go back to myself at that age and just be like, no, you're not bi, have another guess. A big part of coming out is accepting it yourself before you tell other people. So I remember when I used to sleep in this room with my brother and we had bunk beds. I was on the top bunk and I can remember laying there and just being like, right Ross, you're bi, just accept it, you can't change it. And that night I decided to tell my school friends the next day. This is where it gets weird. I went into school the next day and as I was sat there planning on telling my friends, one of them just went, "Ross, are you bi?" That's like the biggest coincidence that's ever happened in my life. The day that I was going to tell them that I was bi, they straight up just asked me. I owe a lot of my coming out to my friends because they were just the ones that sort of like made me come out in a way, but in a good way. When I was in year 9, I met a girl from a different school and she was and still is like one of the most attractive people I know, and we had lots of common interests. So I'm still sort of in that place where I think I'm romantically attracted to girls, but really I just want to be their friend. So because I liked the look of this girl and we were both obsessed with the same things, it made me think that like I really liked her, so I ended up getting into a relationship with her. I mistook the feeling for romance, so then I ended up being with her for 9 months. I don't regret that part of my life, but I do think it probably slowed down my realisation that I was gay. So that relationship ended, and I think at the same time it helped me shake off the idea that I was bi. Finally, I realised my sexuality at like the age of 16. During this time where my friends still thought I was bi, but I knew I was gay, there was 2 occurrences that I think are worthy of telling. Firstly, like in the first month of secondary school, this was maybe in year 11 I think, a boy just came up to me and said, "Are you gay?" And I said no. and thankfully he just accepted that answer and moved on. Then one day in PE I was playing football with the girls, simply because my friends were girls. I didn't want to play with the boys because they take it too seriously, so I played with the girls. So one of the girls went over and tried to play with the boys, and after she was stopped by the teacher, she was like, well, why does Ross get to play with the girls just because he's gay? No, I'm not playing with the girls because I'm gay, I'm playing with the girls because they're my friends and I want to. So these two occurrences proved that like everyone in my year just assumed that I was gay. Similar to when I came out to my friends as bi, one day one of my friends just said, Ross, you don't seem to be interested in girls anymore, do you think you might be gay? And I just said yeah, because I'd already accepted that myself. And that's how my friends found out. So for about 2 years I lived with my friends knowing, but nobody else, and that was fine at the time because I didn't want anybody else to know. So when other people did know, or they like assumed that they did know, it would annoy me more. And I think it's because it took me such a long time to realise or accept it, that for them to realise it so quickly, I was just like, how have you just known? How do you know without me telling you? So I'm talking about 2 occasions here. Firstly, I got my friend a mug with my face on for her birthday because I'm just that narcissistic. And when her family were around her house, her younger cousin I think said, is that your boyfriend? And one of her other friends said, no, Ross is gay. I don't seem to remember ever telling you that. So how do you feel as though you can just go and confirm it to other people if I haven't confirmed it to you myself? Another time, I was in a pub with my friend and 2 boys / men, I don't know how old they were, just started pushing each other and I went, oh, fight? And then one of them turned round and went, the only fight you've ever had is a dick up your ass. Firstly, fake news. And because of what he'd said, I started crying in the middle of the pub, and I don't know why, like, I'd accepted it at that point, but I think it was just the fact that I knew that everybody knew, but it was still so hard for me to come out and say it, despite everybody already knowing. After finishing 6th form, I decided that now was the right time to tell my parents and everybody else, and I wanted to do it when my parents dropped me off at university, but there was a chance that I wouldn't get into university. So one day I was on the website Star Now looking for auditions and stuff because I was interested in acting, and I came across an advert that said, are you wanting to come out to a close relative but you haven't done so yet? Yeah. So I sent off my details, expecting nothing to come from it, but the next day I got a call from an unknown number, and it was someone from the production company that have made the documentary. Long story short, I got involved with it, and it gave me a reason to come out. We'd been filming the pre-coming out part for about a month or so, and then I needed to choose a date that I said that I was going to come out on, so I chose the 9th of September, and funnily enough, that was the day that Gaga released Perfect Illusion. So that meant I'd been up since 6:30 to hear the song on the radio, so by the time my dad gets in from work, I'd been up 12 hours just worrying about coming out, like thinking about what their reaction was going to be. Like I said, I filmed my coming out, so this camera was in the middle and I had 2 other cameras at either side. So as I was setting up them cameras, my heart was like beating the fastest it's ever beat. But you'll have to watch the documentary to find out what my parents' reaction was. Only about 4 days after I came out, I moved away to university, and for me that was the best thing because I just felt awkward around my parents, so I liked being away from home, and I was able to be fully myself when I was away from home. But my mum has said like she didn't like that because it felt as though they were kicking me out the house after I'd come out. So something that's happened after I've come out that isn't in the documentary because it's only happened fairly recently. I've got a boyfriend! Through me and him talking to each other, he's come out to his family and his friends now, so I'd like to think that I helped him do that. But it's given me even more passion to talk about coming out because that's my favourite thing to talk about at the moment, so it makes me want to help even more people. So that's like the main reason that I'm doing the documentary, because it's hopefully going to help more people to come out. But also, if there's anybody specifically watching this video that wants to talk to me about coming out or any advice, then my Twitter DMs are open, and you can message me on YouTube I think, because I just want to talk to people about it. So feel free to message me if there's nobody else that you can talk to. That was just a quick summary and some quick stories about my coming out experience. Like I said, the documentary does it better, so you can go and watch the documentary if you want to sort of see it in more detail and see me coming out to my parents and sort of see what their reaction was afterwards. The way I've described it is hopefully people can watch that documentary and imagine that it's them coming out, so you sort of live in your coming out through me doing it. So go and give that a watch, and if you're in the closet then hopefully you can come out yourself. Thank you for watching that video. If you enjoyed me talking about this topic, then give the video a thumbs up and leave a comment, but if you haven't seen me before and you like what you saw, then click subscribe and come back next week for more.